You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Coming up, a vehicle crash causes the death of a 19-year-old, and now authorities bring multiple charges against the driver.
And Chris Pine leads a team of adventurers on a quest for box office supremacy in the upcoming Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
And we are starting the day pretty decently, especially if you're north of a particular boundary. We'll talk about that boundary and the changes it's going to bring coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation is helping the Chanute Police Department investigate an early morning homicide. Authorities say a resident who heard a gunshot called officers shortly after midnight Monday morning. Police found 34-year-old Blake Pearson of Topeka in an alley with a gunshot wound and a bystander giving him CPR. Pearson was later pronounced dead at the hospital. An autopsy has been scheduled. Authorities charge a 19-year-old man in a crash earlier this month that killed another 19-year-old. Authorities say Joseph Hill of Carthage was driving while intoxicated when the vehicle overturned near Grand Falls in Joplin. In that crash, 2 people were injured and Keenan Reed of Carthage was killed. Hill is charged with felony DWI, death of another, second-degree felony assault, and driving with a suspended or revoked license. Federal officials investigate the death of a worker at the Silver Dollar City theme park near Branson, Missouri. Spokeswoman for the Federal Department of Labor says the employee was hospitalized last week with head injuries allegedly sustained during maintenance and testing of a roller coaster. The employee was pronounced dead the next day. That person's name has not been released. The employee had worked at the park since 2017. Well, luxury for half the price and half the size. Abby Nelson, a founder of a company called Micro Mansions, is building modern micro houses for people who want to save space but still have a newer, durable, energy-efficient home. The company is currently building the first kit version home in Columbus, Kansas, and will use it for Airbnb later on. Owner says the goal is to have a mansion sell for around $100,000.
Our cost per square foot is a little bit more, but you're still getting like everything you would get in a normal house, just a little bit smaller footprint, and then you're able to have like those nicer higher end finishes, so it's durable, it's energy efficient, it's a good product for a price point that is needed in the area.
The crew hopes to build the kits in 4 to 6 weeks. Coming up later in the show, our own Yana Abdullah takes us inside these micro mansions for a closer look. Well, a local Neosho artist was commissioned to paint lively murals at Morse Park. KOAM Amber Jenkins spoke to the artist.
Neosho, Missouri is becoming more colorful with multiple new murals. The city approached local artist Sandra Pemberton to paint 2 murals in Morse Park on the park's pavilion.
So I scouted out the area and they had brought these pavilions in from a gas station that had shut down. And it very much looked like a gas station pavilion.
Sandra is painting with a purpose. She is painting 8 murals in just 9 days. She spoke about the importance of an artist's vision.
Headspace. Like, it sounds funny, but like if I messed up on the job, I will revise 20 times. And sometimes I'll just be like, you know what? I am going home. I will try again tomorrow.
The beautification project has been well planned. Sandra put a lot of thought into the design sketches and color scheme. Even when she's done for the day, she's still thinking about the murals.
And then I do a lot of just like laying in bed at night and thinking about my steps and what needs to happen first.
Despite the pressure of painting 8 murals in a short amount of time, the community interest in her art keeps Sandra going.
Really nice to see it growing. And it's even better because like the community really does like it. Which to me, it's all, of course I'm gonna like it, but to see them like it is pretty awesome.
In Neosho, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The murals will be completed and presented Saturday morning. Well, another accolade for Laura Linney. The actress was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She's placed next to Jason Bateman, who played her husband in the Netflix drama Ozark. She has won 4 Emmys and 2 Golden Globes, and some of her most famous roles are Abigail Adams in HBO's John Adams and Kathy Jameson in The Big sea. I love watching Ozark.
I haven't
That's a good
seen
show.
it, but I've heard it's actually really good. And I know it's on Netflix, so at some point I'll have to start binging because I'm running out of things to watch.
And it shows the beauty of Southwest Missouri.
You know, here's the deal, though. There is a lot of beauty here. I mean, it's the Ozark Mountains, and I know they're not mountains, but I mean, you go far enough south and you get these good roving hills, and you get sights that are just absolutely breathtaking. Granted, I'd still like to see a real mountain. I've talked about this before. I've never really traveled in my life. It's a long, complicated story, but let's just say I haven't traveled a lot in my life. One of these days,
We'll get you there.
maybe we will. Maybe the station can sponsor something. We'll just travel across America, take the show on the road.
Tanya and Chris, Travel America.
I think it's a good idea. Hey, so I forgot to do this yesterday, and I'm really upset because I made this graphic. I made the whole thing. I wanted to make this a thing for our Fox Morning Show where we go into a little weather history. The one yesterday, by the way, was about the Andrea Doria and the Stockholm and how they collided in the fog. It's how weather's impacted history. So, on today's date, back in 1993, in Pueblo, Colorado, the record high for this day was 101, the record low, 52. They were set on the same day. So, talk about an extreme temperature difference for Pueblo, Colorado on this day back in 1993. Now, we don't have the extreme differences, but we still are dealing with extreme temperatures across the area. It's going to be another hot one today. We got scattered PM storms today as well. We're finally getting there, and those rain and thunderstorm chances are going to increase. Skywatch Storm Tracker shows this nice line of showers and some thunderstorms starting to get into some of our northern counties. They'll break up as the day goes on. Heat advisories are in effect. Excessive heat warnings in that magenta color. 7th and range line, there's that sun. Just waiting to bombard us with some heat, and it will do so. 83 in Joplin feels like 85. We've got that heat index. Our dew point and humidity are up because we've got increasing storm chances. I talked about this boundary. There's this boundary that sits right about here, and you can clearly see it two ways. One with the wind arrows, and the other part is more obvious. Check out Iola, 68 degrees still right now, 71 in Fort Scott, Nevada. But if you're south of that boundary, you're starting your day in the 80s. As we progress through the day, it's going to get hot again. Now, if you're north of the boundary, you're still going to get hot, but not nearly as hot as everyone else. Everyone else, though, lower 100s with storm chances increasing as we head into the evening. These are not widespread. These are scattered, but we will see some rain. They're going to stick with us and become a little more widespread come tomorrow with overnight lows in the 70s. So let's take a look at what that looks like. We go through today, and by this afternoon, early evening, whichever you want to call it, you can see a few more widely scattered storms, and then they become a bit more numerous because that boundary starts to shift in our favor. And as it does, it increases our thunderstorm chances and our rain chances. Tomorrow, though, we still have another day of triple-digit temperatures to get through before it starts to really look good. That boundary comes in Wednesday, parks on top of us, and for at least a few days, temperatures are going to be nice. Lower 80s for highs, plenty of rain to go around, overnight lows in the 60s. The only bad news is it's a brief break, but it's a break nonetheless before summer starts to make a return next week with highs sitting about 95 degrees. But we still have this break, and we'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to a break because it will be nice to cool down. Finally.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be nice to have some rain. I know the farmers need it, so it'll be great just to take a pause from summer for a few days.
All right, well, up next, the White House looks to take on monkeypox.
Just days after the World Health Organization issues a public health emergency over monkeypox, the White House may announce its own warning. I'm Trinity Chavez with the latest, including 2 children who've contracted the virus.
And later, we have an excellent story about a business where you can rent egg-laying chickens, and you won't even have to cross the road to see it.
In Health Watch this morning, a stark warning concerning the monkeypox outbreak. Over the weekend, the World Health Organization declared it a public health emergency of international concern. And now it appears the Biden administration may follow suit. Trinity Chavez has the latest.
The White House says it may declare a public health emergency amid growing concern over the spread of monkeypox. According to the CDC, there are now more than 3,400 confirmed cases in at least 44 states, including 2 children, a toddler in California, and an infant in Washington, D.C.
This is a public health emergency.
The virus spreads mainly through skin-to-skin contact, but can be passed on through sheets or towels. It can cause a rash and flu-like symptoms. Harun Tulunai says he called a nurse who sent him straight to the hospital, where he spent 2 weeks recovering.
I remember clearly that I cried on the phone to her saying that I think I'm gonna die because I can't eat, I can't drink, I can't even swallow my own spit. I am just very tired.
Anyone can get monkeypox, but right now it primarily impacts gay and bisexual men.
There's always been this worry that the more that transmission goes on and the more cases there are, the more it could potentially spill over into other groups.
Doctors say it is not a sexually transmitted disease in the classic sense, since it can spread via close, non-sexual contact. Trinity Chavez, CBS News, New York.
The White House also plans to name a Monkey Pox Coordinator to help oversee the government's response. This as vaccines for monkeypox have been slow to roll out and difficult for many to find. A group of veterans took to the skies in Virginia for the 5th annual Heroes on the River event on Sunday. It's the largest combat veteran tandem skydiving event in the U.S. Veterans say at the event it gives them the chance to connect with people who have gone through similar experiences. The nonprofit organization also holds events like fishing, camping, and an annual cookout for veterans and their families each year.
There are certainly some braver souls than I out there, because I don't think you could get me in an airplane, let alone get me to jump out of an airplane.
It is on my bucket list.
You let me know how that goes, all right?
Someday.
You can tell me all about it. You can take a GoPro and I will live vicariously through that experience, but I'm not getting involved in jumping out of a plane.
It'd be fun.
Intentionally. Anyway, something we can all get involved in is nicer temperatures. They're on the way. We've got a stalled boundary across the area. If you're north of it, you've been pretty cool this morning, almost chilly. And if you're south of that boundary, you've been toasty, and it's going to be toasty. Now, again, if you're north of that boundary, you're not going to get as hot as everybody else, but it's still going to be hot up north. We got highs getting into the lower 100s for most of us, and then as we head into the afternoon, we have increasing scattered storm chances and some gusty southwesterly winds. Scattered storm chances stick with us through the overnight and into tomorrow morning, when they'll actually slightly increase, and we'll show you that on the future track. So scattered storms again today, not widespread, but there will be some pockets of rain. And as we head into tomorrow morning, you can see that that boundary begins to shift in our favor and brings us increasing storm chances. And as that boundary shifts even further in our favor, it's going to drop temperatures behind it for everybody and give us a break. We're talking lows in the 60s, highs in the 80s until we get to Monday. July returns on Monday, but we also have rain chances nearly every day now through Sunday, which is something we desperately need. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
How can a Silver Dollar City summer day get any better? By making it last even longer during Moonlight Madness. Ride into the night, dance beneath the stars, and take in the most spectacular Echo Hollow fireworks ever. End your summer with a bang, or a million. Don't miss the ultimate finale to summer, only at Silver Dollar City.
Going through a little nostalgia. Anybody remember Breedlove Automotive and Parsons and that catchy little tune they had? It's been stuck in my head for years, and I found the commercial from '93 with the song, and I'm just elated with joy right now. Well, Tinseltown has revealed its latest looks at 2 big upcoming movies, both featuring the same popular actor. David Daniel brings us both in today's Hollywood Minute.
We help the wrong person steal the wrong thing. We didn't mean to unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known. But we're gonna fix it.
So how do we pull that off? Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best.
Roll for Survival. The first trailer is out for Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Chris Pine leads a team on an epic quest to retrieve a lost relic. The action-adventure, inspired by the iconic role-playing game, launches in theaters March 3rd, 2023.
What is the enemy of progress? Chaos. Yeah. Nasty word. Chaos.
The one thing they ask of us is to stay here, where it's safe.
Pine bedevils Florence Pugh in the latest trailer for Don't Worry, Darling. Olivia Wilde, who directed the movie, and Harry Styles also star in the suspense thriller, which arrives in theaters September 23rd. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
I cannot get over that old commercial. I mean, the song from Breedlove Automotive has just been stuck in my head for years. I've sung it to my kids, and it always made me look forward to turning 16, because if you remember it, from all those years ago, the line in that song said, we'll be there when you turn 16. And it just, it was so exciting to look forward to buying a car because of that jingle. Jingles work. They stick with you. We've got another hot day, so it's going to be sticky outside. And I don't have any good jingles for this, but I have some good news. Scattered thunderstorms later today, and then they're going to increase as the day goes on. This is all from a boundary that's been kind of stuck just to our north. So this stuff in our northern counties will eventually dissipate as the day goes on, gives way to some heat advisories, even some more excessive heat warnings across the area. The sun continues to climb into the sky. Temperatures, 83 in Joplin, feels like 85. And here you can see the boundary on the temperature map, where if you're north of it, like Iola, Yates Center, Fort Scott, you're starting off pretty nice. But if you're south of that boundary, you're starting off in the 80s. Now, even up in the northern counties, just because it's a little cooler doesn't mean you're not going to get hot. You just won't be as hot as everyone else. Temperatures for most of us soaring into the lower 100s. Thunderstorm chances return this evening. They'll stick with us with gusty southwesterly winds. Temperatures getting into the upper 70s as we start our day. Those thunderstorm chances kind of stick around through about 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, and then they'll give way to another hot day in the triple digits. But as you can see, the boundary shifts in our favor, bringing more storm chances. And a quick look at the 7-day forecast. Once that boundary shifts in our favor, storm chances increase, temperatures go down. We're talking 80s for highs and 60s for lows. Sorry. We'll be right back with more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Master Sergeant John Leroy III. This Scammon, Kansas native served in Vietnam from October of 1965 to November of 1966. This highly decorated veteran earned a number of awards, such as the Air Force Commendation Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross with device, and the Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal. To Master Sergeant John Leroy III, we thank you, today's four-state hero.
I'm pretty sure we had John Leroy Jr. in our KOAM Morning News.
I had to double check and make sure it wasn't a repeat, but nope.
Yeah, no, so see, family history.
Pretty cool. Well, if you've ever had the dream of having fresh eggs every morning, a new business venture might be just the thing for you.
Or Chicken Gate, because that's where this is going. Mm-hmm. A Northern California entrepreneur has hatched a new business plan that involves renting out egg-laying hens.
As Cornell Bernard reports, the customer reviews are extraordinary.
There's been a lot to cluck about on Eric Strother's urban farm in Sebastopol.
They're very lovable.
He's talking about the ladies in his hen house.
They all have their own unique personalities.
All those pecking personalities are now available to rent.
Well, I've been kind of searching for something fun, kind of a side project, in this world of side hustles that we're in right now.
Is it okay if I take some eggs?
Strother, who works by day as an archaeologist, has launched Rent Backyard Hens, a chance for folks across the Bay Area to become temporary at-home chicken ranchers.
I figure this is a really good opportunity for people to just try it out. If they like it, they like having the hens and stuff, I can come and pick all this up and they can start their own, setup later.
He will personally deliver a chicken coop and 2 egg-laying hens anywhere across the Bay Area.
It takes them about maybe 10 minutes to lay an egg. They lay an egg every day.
There are some pre-screening questions to make sure you and your rent-a-hens are a good fit.
Do you have a dog we need to worry about? Is your fence or your yard fenced?
And yes, all of the backyard hens for rent have names. Meet Betty 1, and Betty 2 is around here in the yard someplace.
Gertrude, Etta, Amelia, a lot of E's.
And I love eggs, and I thought what better way to have fresh eggs every day. And
Kelly Citron from San Francisco rented her coop and hens 2 months ago.
they have character and personality. They're super smart. They escaped from the yard into the neighbor's yard.
The hens are available for 1 to 3 month rentals. Prices range from $175 to $475. While the new business venture may ruffle a few feathers around here, one thing is not negotiable. Eddie the rooster is not available to rent.
No, because you want eggs to eat.
Yeah.
Yes, so you don't need the rooster.
No,
Plus,
you
he
don't.
would annoy your neighbors. My question is, what if something happens to one of the do they have chicken insurance or insurance on these hens?
I'm
Because if
sure they've
something
got some
happens,
kind of plan.
like a neighborhood dog got out, you could easily lose one of those hens. It happens.
It's not funny, but it's funny, you know. Oh, yeah. No, I'm sure they've got a plan. There's got to be something in place for the chicken situation.
And I also want to know if you've ever found Betty 2, or did Betty 2 actually fly the coop?
Maybe she did. She knew
Ended
what
up
was
on
up.
7th and Range Line on someone's dash.
That's where Betty 2's been this whole time.
Chicken Gate 2022. Well, another half hour of news and weather is just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, an all-star cast swoops in to save the day when the DC League of Super Pets hits the theaters this weekend, and we've got you a preview.
And lawmakers in Indiana are poised to make the toughest abortion laws in the country, and thousands of protesters showed up at the Capitol in defiance. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
Starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:30. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Authorities charge a 19-year-old man in a crash earlier this month that killed another 19-year-old. Authorities say Joseph Hill of Carthage was driving while intoxicated when the vehicle overturned near Grand Falls in Joplin. In that crash, 2 people were injured and Keenan Reed of Carthage was killed. Hill is charged with felony DWI, death of another, second-degree felony assault, and driving with a suspended or revoked license. Kansas Bureau of Investigation is helping the Chanute Police Department investigate an early morning homicide. Authorities say a resident who heard a gunshot called officers shortly after midnight Monday morning. Police found 34-year-old Blake Pearson of Topeka in an alley with a gunshot wound and a bystander giving him CPR. Pearson was later pronounced dead at the hospital. An autopsy has been scheduled. Local business will soon start selling micro home kits. KOAM's Yana Hatula learned more about their goal to help provide more affordable housing to those looking to build.
So the way they're packaged, when we take this on the truck, we'll set it.
Abby Nelson, a founder of Micromansions, is building her first house test kit in Columbus, Kansas. She says she got the idea when she couldn't find a small enough house for her to purchase.
I was trying to buy a house and I couldn't find anything that I wanted. Everything was too big. And so I started designing my own house to put on a piece of land. And they were more of these smaller footprint, kind of modern homes. And I had a lot of interest from other people to have a similar house.
According to Home Advisor, in 2022, the average cost to build a home in the U.S. is $280,000. Nelson's goal is to have each micromansion sale for around $100,000.
Our cost per square foot is a little bit more, but you're still getting like everything you would get in a normal house, just a little bit smaller footprint, and then you're able to have like those nicer higher end finishes, so it's durable, it's energy efficient, it's a good product for a price point that is needed in the area.
The kits are planned to be shipped around the U.S.
Some developers are looking at, like, they can fit more of these on an acre than they can bigger houses or duplexes, and so they're interested in building little communities of them where they can have 10 to 12 of them and use them as student housing.
Robert Pinegar, a constructor at the Micromansion, says this is a good way to provide people affordable, simple homes.
Everything being so high, price of lumber, the price of materials, the cost of living is so high. So this is going to keep them, bring it back down where most people can afford to live and still have money in their pocket.
In Columbus, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
Once the building of the kits start, the crew's goal is to have the project complete in 4 to 6 weeks. Administrators with the Joplin School District are urging parents to apply for reduced or free lunches for their kids. Officials say the National School Lunch Program waiver that provided free school meals for all students since the beginning of the pandemic has not been renewed for the 2022 to 2023 school year. Originally, all students were eligible for reduced or free lunches under the pandemic waiver, but now parents must apply and be approved. You can find a link on how to apply on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, there's a special day to honor our mothers in May and our fathers in June and even our grandparents in September. But did you know there's also a day set aside to celebrate aunts and uncles? That's right, National Aunt and Uncle's Day is July 26th. That's today. Parents' siblings often show their nieces and nephews a lot of love and attention growing up. They can be someone's children who really look up to and trust. So on this day, be sure to reach out to your favorite aunt or uncle. Let them know you're grateful for the happy memories you share and the value they have added to your life.
I was very fortunate growing up. I had some great aunts and uncles, and I think now my kids have some great aunts and uncles as well in their lives. So the tradition continues.
I would have to agree, yes.
And you know, aunts and uncles are just as good as grandparents. They're going to spoil you all the same.
And send them right on back home.
Exactly.
Sugared up.
Exactly. Exactly. You're welcome. Chicken story from earlier. Eggs everywhere. You might still be able to fry an egg on the road or the sidewalk. I wouldn't do it in the road because it's still going to be hot today. We're sitting another day of triple digits. We got another day tomorrow, but we have some scattered evening storms today, and then we've got rain and thunderstorm chances increasing through the week. So that's associated with this. There's a stalled out boundary that's been bringing showers and thunderstorms to our north. In fact, it's bringing dangerous flooding to the St. Louis area. It's eventually going to shift in our favor. Before it does, though, another day of heat advisories, probably one more day, and even some excessive heat warnings. 7th in range line looking good so far, but it is warm in Joplin right now. Temperatures are sitting at 83, feels like 85 because dew point and humidity are on the rise. Now, the boundary, you can very clearly see with the wind shift arrows and with these temperatures. If you're north of the boundary, Iola has not gotten out of the 60s all morning long. Now, Fort Scott and Nevada, pushing up there in the lower 70s. But if you're south of the boundary, you're starting the day in the 80s. Now, the folks up north, you're not going to get as hot as everybody else, but it's still going to be another toasty day. Highs for most of us pushing in the lower 100s, increasing storm chances as we move through the day with a gusty southwesterly breeze, gusting about 25. As we head through the overnight, scattered storms. Now, I want to emphasize scattered. This is not a widespread event right now, but scattered storms will persist into tomorrow morning. You can see that on the future tracks. As we go through today, here's 5 o'clock. There's more of those scattered storms building in. But as the boundary shifts in our favor come Wednesday morning, we'll see more scattered storms, maybe even a few more solid storms that'll give us some rain. And it's just going to be something we need. Now, it doesn't do a lot for temperatures. We got one more day of hot temperatures tomorrow, and then the boundary really shifts in our favor, and temperatures begin to drop by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday into the lower 80s. And then we've got 88 Sunday, warming back up by next week. But between now and then, increasing rain chances, overnight lows in the 60s, a much-needed break. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 after this break. This morning, we're discussing wearable tech to monitor your health. Now, wearable technology has come a long way. Some of you may be old enough to remember the height of wearable technology may have been when your watch doubled as a calculator, but then the internet changed everything. Now, if you've got a smartwatch, it can tell you how many steps you've taken, your heart rate, and even how well you're sleeping, among other health benefits. It basically can remind you when you're a sloth. The future of wearable tech with health benefits comes in the form now of concussion and stress detection. Can even monitor your breath to help in weight loss. So now the science fiction that used to be is going to be the wearable tech of tomorrow. So that brings us to our question. Do you monitor your health with wearable tech? Yes or no? It just changed. You see that? Live voting taking place. 56% of you say yes. 44% of you say no. An almost even split. Make sure you vote. KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. KOAM News Now app. And, of course, you can take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. Well, Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson are back in theaters this week. At least their voices are. Rick Damigella reports.
Wake up, buddy. It is walk o'clock. I have an owner. He's Superman.
And I'm up. Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart team up again in animated form in DC League of Super Pets.
This just seems gross.
What do you mean gross? Smelling stuff is one of the greatest joys of being a dog.
Johnson plays Superdog Crypto to John Krasinski's Man of Steel.
Let me just iron that out. They should call me Iron Man. No.
While Hart voices Ace opposite Keanu Reeves' Batman.
As a child, my family was taken from me. As a puppy, I was taken from my family. So I've steeled myself. My emotions always in check. No one ever getting past my impenetrable defenses. What the heck?
Naturally, Lex Luthor shows up, kryptonite happens, and a group of pet store residents attain superpowers and must save the human heroes.
You know what they say about dogs, don't you?
Never feed us chocolate.
We love unconditionally.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
We'll be back with consumer news right after this.
Consumer Watch this morning. Will the Federal Reserve raise interest rates? What items is Walmart planning to cut prices on, and what famous rookie card up for bid could smash the record amount for a baseball card? Matt Piper has your answer.
Will it or won't it? With inflation still at a 4-decade high, the Fed is expected to announce a second consecutive 3/4 point interest rate hike when it ends its latest policy meeting tomorrow. But with signs the economy has started to slow, like jobless claims at an 8-month high, that typically leads the Fed to stop raising rates and possibly even cut them. If rates do go up, it would make borrowing more expensive for everyone, companies and individuals. Walmart says it's cutting prices on clothing and other items. The retailer made that announcement yesterday while warning investors of lower profits in the months ahead. Walmart says it's responding to reduced spending by its customers, which it attributed to rising inflation. And bidding is now underway for a mint condition Mickey Mantle rookie card. The price rose to nearly $5 million shortly after it was listed online by Heritage Auctions. The most expensive baseball card of all time is the $6.6 million paid last year for a 1909 Honus Wagner. Experts say the Mantle card could smash that record when the auction ends on August 27th.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Order for a Sour Patch Kids slush float.
I'll add the Sour Patch Kids.
I'm on the ice cream.
Sonic Sour Patch Kids slush float.
I'm Jill Carter, the only candidate endorsed by Missouri Right to Life and the only true conservative running for state senate for Jasper and Newton County. My opponent, Bill White, says he's conservative, but he's not. Bill White voted to allow men and women's sports, to increase the gas tax, and he was stripped of his Missouri Right to Life endorsement because he voted to fund Planned Parenthood.
He voted for men and women's sports?
That's not conservative. On August 2nd, let's do Republican better. Paid for by Friends of Jill Carter for Senate.
Are you dreaming about building a home but worried because the cost of building materials is outrageous and finding an available builder is nearly impossible? Here's a better idea. Buy a Deer Valley home from Value Homes. You can get a beautiful, high-quality, customized home in less time and for a whole lot less money. Most Deer Valley homes start around $100 per square foot, and your price is locked in when you order. Don't wait. Give Value Homes a call today and check out Deer Valley Homes at valuehomesonline.com.
Hey neighbor, you switched to T-Mobile home internet yet? Trim your hedge. It's $50 a month with no price hikes. Bam! It runs on T-Mobile's wireless 5G network, so all you gotta do is plug in one cord.
T-Mobile 5G home internet. Just $50 a month. No price hikes, no hidden fees.
I did it.
Ah!
I switched to T-Mobile home internet and I am loving it.
Don't sneak up on me like that.
Why didn't you tell me to switch earlier?
Eric Burleson gave law enforcement the tools they need.
He passed Haley's Law that fixed the Amber Alert system. Eric is protecting our Second Amendment rights.
He's fighting to keep critical race theory out of our schools.
That's why I'm supporting.
And
that's why I'm supporting Eric Burleson for Congress.
I'm Eric Burleson, and I approve this message because I will always put public safety and America first.
Ice cream.
Boom.
Sour Patch Kids bits.
Boom.
A slush.
Take a bite, and then we'll all harmonize.
Okay, ready?
Sonic Sour Patch Kids slush float. Sign me up.
I think we're a girl group now.
Sign me up.
Lawmakers in Indiana are discussing the state's abortion ban, which would be one of the strictest in the country if it's passed. Now, some want to preserve access to the procedure, while others say the rules should be even stricter. Alexandra Field has the story.
Thousands of demonstrators swarming Indiana's state capitol for the heated debate over a bill to ban abortion at any stage of pregnancy, with exceptions for some cases of rape, incest, and threats to the life of a mother.
Just judgment.
Fierce opposition to the bill coming now on both sides of the issue.
Indiana Right to Life's mission is to protect the right to life. Our opposition to this bill is because in its current state, it doesn't stack up to that mission.
Some arguing that the restrictions with Indiana's bill don't go far enough.
I'm asking the SB1 language be stripped and a bill be replaced with the language similar to HB 1282, which was a complete ban on abortion with no exceptions, no compromise, no regulation.
Others fighting to stop another state from denying care to women.
The proposed legislation politicizes what should be a private decision.
Indiana is the first state to call a special session to attempt to pass new laws restricting abortion in the wake of the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision. It leads the way for dozens of states with plans to pass similar bills. At least 12 states have already attempted to or enacted bans or severely restricted abortion procedures since Roe was overturned.
My body, my choice!
Indiana has become a safe haven of sorts for women seeking care they can't otherwise get.
We're already seeing people traveling from other states coming into Indiana for abortion care, as far away as Texas, but including states like Ohio and Kentucky. So Indiana is already trying to provide care that should be legal and accessible by these people in their own states.
Last month, a 10-year-old rape victim traveled from Ohio to Indianapolis for an abortion after her home state enacted a ban around the 6th week of pregnancy. The Indiana University physician who helped the child, Dr. Caitlin Bernard, drawing the ire of conservative media, some lawmakers, and the state's attorney general. Protesting Indiana's bill in an op-ed for the Washington Post, she writes, "People in Indiana and across the nation have called me brave, but I'm not any braver than any other physician who would do the right thing when faced with a patient in need. I don't feel brave. I feel anguished, desperate, and angry." Nearly 1,400 healthcare workers from across Indiana signing 2 letters to lawmakers voicing their objections.
Legislating someone else's moral decisions and religious decisions onto everyone else that comes directly into the clinics is hugely problematic for us who are trying to practice medicine.
We are concerned that this is just a harbinger of what is to come, and we are really worried about a national abortion ban.
So this for you goes well beyond Indiana.
Absolutely. Indiana is first, but we are not going to be last.
Republicans have a supermajority in Indiana state legislature, so a bill is likely to pass. And opponents are concentrating on trying to make sure it includes as many exemptions as possible. Chris?
Yeah, quick look at the Skywatch storm tracker. We've got a boundary, so they're actually dealing with flooding concerns in St. Louis because they've been socked in with rain the last few days from this boundary that's stalled out. It will eventually shift a little bit more in our favor. So this morning, some of our northern counties are getting some showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. These will dissipate as the day goes on. They give way to excessive heat warnings and heat advisories through the day, and it's going to be another hot one for a lot of us. Right now at 7th and Range Line, the sun is shining. 83 in Joplin, feels like 85. Dew point and humidity are up there. And you can see where that boundary has shifted a little. Iola's now come up a degree to 68. If you're north of that boundary, you're starting the day pretty nice. If you're south of it, you're in the 80s. Now, if you're north of the boundary, you're going to get hot, but not nearly as hot as everyone else today. Everyone else, though, still south of it, highs in the lower 100s. We got another triple-digit day tomorrow as well, but you'll notice by 5 o'clock, increasing scattered thunderstorm chances. It's also going to be breezy out of the southwest, gusting to about 20-25 miles an hour. We hold on to storm chances through the overnight. And again, these are scattered. They're not going to be widespread. Lows in the 70s. Tomorrow, despite the scattered storms, it's still going to be pushing the lower 100s yet again, but you'll see there's a few more of them around the area. And as the day moves on and we head into Wednesday, that boundary continues to shift a little more in our favor, and you can see from one end of the area to the other more widespread showers and thunderstorms, and that's going to be the trend over the next several days. We'll have these on again, off again showers and thunderstorms, which you can see in the 7-day forecast. So alert days today and tomorrow should be our last day of triple digits, at least for a little while. The boundary shifts further in our favor by midweek, and as we go through the rest of the week, the rain chances increase. Temperatures, look at this. Where we are in Joplin, for example, is where our high is going to be by Friday and Saturday. The heat will return next week, but between now and then, good rain chances, overnight lows in the 60s, highs in the 80s, and a big, much-needed break. We've got more of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 when we come back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. Thousands of firefighters are working around the clock to battle the Oak Fire, not far from Yosemite National Park in Northern California. Fire has destroyed a number of homes and structures and forced thousands of evacuations. Record high temperatures across the country are fueling wildfires in more than a dozen states. The Biden administration is still considering an emergency declaration for monkeypox. It comes as the CDC reports more than 3,000 cases in the U.S. The virus spreads mainly through skin-to-skin contact and can cause a fever and rash. At least 2 cases in children have been reported in the U.S., a toddler in California and an infant in Washington, D.C. Well, tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is now over $800 million, the 4th largest prize in lotto history. Popular cash option would pay a lump sum of about $470 million. There hasn't been a big winner in 3 months, though 4 ticket holders won at least $1 million in last week's drawing.
Out of St. Louis, they're driving away now, but they have a neighborhood where they were wading through waist-deep water, and that's because of a stalled boundary. A quick look at our Skywatch Weather Center, or Skywatch Storm Tracker. This is it. This is the boundary that's bringing changes to us. St. Louis has been socked in with rain. Flooding is not a significant concern in our area right now, but the ground is so dry that if this boundary dumps too much rain on us, flash flooding could definitely become a problem. At least for right now, though. 106 today, 100 tomorrow, increasing shower and thunderstorm chances, decreasing temperatures, and of course the flooding possibility is something we will be watching closely, again, just because the ground has been so dry for so long.
Of course, we'll have more on the flash flooding in St. Louis today on the KOAM News at noon. Well, Lego is letting you design your own minifigure. The company launched its online minifigure factory in the U.S. It lets you create a minifigure of yourself.
You can pick the heads, legs, torso, and accessories to your liking. Custom-made minifigures cost about $12 and can be made at lego.com. I think mine could be a little cheaper because you don't have to get a hairpiece for it. I could save a couple of bucks there.
Yours would just be painted on the sides.
Yeah. See, and I could paint it on the sides. So just send me the bald guy and we'll be good.
All right. Well, we can't get our bobbleheads, so maybe we'll get the Legos.
Yeah.
Cheaper option.
Yeah, I like the Legos. That's what we need to do. We'll have the station order us Legos.
There you go. Love Legos.
I do too. I love building with those things. Well, hey, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. And as Tanya mentioned, we'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.